W's in the chat.
W's in the chat.
Oh my gosh. That one just aged me, but we're getting better. Shoot, good win. Win's a win.
A dub is a dub, so keep on rolling.
Sophie Cunningham just called out her own teammates in a bold way. The Indiana Fever won their 5th game in a row, but the real story was the lack of ball movement. Sophie was hitting her threes, while the rest of the team struggled. And she's not keeping quiet about it.
The jump ball, she gets up. Yes. Oh yeah, she uses the off arm to push off on Cunningham.
Was Sophie Cunningham right to be frustrated? The Indiana Fever just pulled off something nobody saw coming. 5 straight wins and a sudden rise in the standings. But while fans were celebrating, Sophie Cunningham wasn't smiling. Why? Because during the big win over Seattle, she was on fire but barely got the ball. The Fever beat the Storm 78-74, but it should have been a blowout. Instead, it came down to the wire. Thanks to poor ball movement and some head-scratching shot choices, Sophie made her feelings known, and some teammates probably didn't like it. But here's the question. If you're hot and your team ignores you, do you stay quiet? Or speak up? Sophie chose the second, and honestly, she might have a point.
Have been a perfect fit at the stretch 4. Cunningham connects on a 3.
Here's where things really heat up. Sophie Cunningham was on fire from 3, hitting 4 of 5 shots. That's 80% from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, the rest of the team? A brutal 0 for 17. Not a single three-pointer made. Let that sink in. Sophie was lights out, but her teammates kept taking shots and missing while barely giving her the ball. How does the hottest shooter on the floor end up getting the fewest looks? No wonder Sophie's frustrated. Honestly, who wouldn't be?
The jump ball, she gets up.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she uses the off arm to push off on Cunningham.
Here's the part that really stings. People watching closely noticed something shocking. The Fever stopped passing to Sophie Cunningham in the 3rd quarter. She was shooting 80% from 3, yet the ball stopped coming her way. That's not just bad basketball, that's straight-up ignorance. When a player is that hot, you feed them the ball every possession. That's basic basketball 101, but here's the twist. It wasn't just the lack of passing, it was who was taking the shots instead. Kelsey Mitchell had one of the worst shooting nights of her career. She went 3 for 16 from the field and 0 for 8 from 3. 0 for 8, while playing 29 minutes. Meanwhile, Sophie, sitting at 4 for 5 from deep, was left watching, probably thinking, what more do I have to do? And yet, this all happened during a 5-game winning streak. It raises a big question. If the Fever can win despite these breakdowns, what happens when they actually start playing smart, unselfish basketball, the teams coming together on paper? But behind the scenes, this drama might just be getting started.
The point about the consistency.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of ups and downs in the WNBA this season. To take care of business in a winning streak like this, what does that sort of say about how this team's come together?
Yeah, you know, Seattle's a great team, great team, and it's hard to play here. And so we knew that. We knew that they just came off kind of a bad loss against LA. And so they were hungry for a win. But for us, it's not about other teams. It's about our standard. It's about stacking the days. And I think that where our mental's at as a team and as individuals, we're in a really good spot. And, you know, it's not going to be easy moving forward. But I think today we stayed true to the scout. We trusted the offense. Kelsey has been having a hell of a season. She was a little bit off, but she facilitated for us offensively down the stretch, and it just shows that everyone has something to give, even if your scoring's not going to be there. But I don't know, I'm just proud of our team, and I'm proud that we stacked today.
The coaching decisions in this game left a lot of fans scratching their heads. How do you watch Kelsey Mitchell go 0 for 8 from 3 and still keep her in the game for 29 minutes? And how do you not run every play through Sophie Cunningham when she's hitting 80% from deep? It's hard to make sense of it. Stephanie White nearly coached the Fever out of a win with some truly questionable rotations and poor game management. And this wasn't during garbage time either. It was a tight, back-and-forth battle where every possession counted. The Fever had a solid lead in the 4th quarter, but instead of playing smart, controlled basketball, they were launching bad threes early in the shot clock. That's not how you close out games. That's not team-first basketball. That's selfish, sloppy decision-making, and it nearly cost them the win.
You guys survived that, I think it was an 11-0 run by Seattle in the final 5 minutes. Just kind of how gutsy was that to pull that out?
And we were very gutsy, every win ain't gonna be pretty. So I'm happy that we kept our composure even though Seattle went on an 11-0 run. We've been through situations like that, but I think that we just stayed together and we talked about it and we moved on to the next play.
I also think it shows the growth that we've had as a team, because early in the season we were just so inconsistent, and if teams were to do that, we would normally lose those games, but it just shows that we're getting closer, we're trusting each other, and I think that's the biggest part, is trusting and knowing that we can win those games even if they go on.
The mental side of this situation is just as serious as the stats. Imagine being Sophie Cunningham, you're knocking down shots, wide open in the corner, watching your teammates miss over and over. You know you could help seal the win if they just pass you the ball. But they don't. They look you off. That kind of thing doesn't just hurt the scoreboard, it hurts a player's confidence and trust in the team. For a competitive athlete playing at an elite level, being ignored like that is brutal. And what makes it worse is how early Sophie got hot. She was hitting shots from the start, clearly the best shooter on the floor. But as the game wore on, the fever just stopped getting her the ball. Instead, players were jacking up tough, contested threes with 15 seconds left on the clock, completely ignoring the wide-open shooter who had been automatic all night. Kelsey Mitchell's decisions stood out the most. Shot after shot, forced and off target. While Sophie, who had done everything right, stood and watched. That's not just a strategy failure. That's a breakdown in trust, in leadership, and in team chemistry. And if it's not addressed soon, it could derail everything the Fever are trying to build.